Hey buddies, Moze here coming at you another Borderlands 3 video, or should I say Tiny Tina's One-Shot Adventure video. Basically what we're going to be doing in today's video is looking at everything the game has to offer before you buy it, in case you're not a PC player. If you are a PC player, I would recommend downloading Epic Games because it is free on there. It's a quick little adventure, so even if you don't like Epic Games, just grab it real quick, download the game, play it for a couple of hours, complete the story. It only took me 3 hours, so I'd highly recommend just chilling with it. But before we get into the specifics of the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much helps me out. And let's get into it.
Legendary? Whoa! No way, dude!
So first things first, one of the cool things about this standalone is that there is actually a new intro that actually allows you to catch up on the lore in case you aren't familiar with the Borderlands universe. So if you never played it and you're looking to go right into Wonderlands, the recap is actually pretty good. If you did like it, I would recommend playing more Borderlands games besides this one because there's a lot of different things that the game has to offer. One of the coolest things about this standalone game is that every level gives you 2 skill points. Now, normally in Borderlands 2, you get your action skill at level 5. You get your action skill at level 2 with this standalone, and you get 2 skill points. So I was actually able to get a lot of points in the skill tree despite me only being level 14, which is very, very cool. And the level cap is level 35, and there is true Vault Hunter mode in case you finish the story mode, which you will in 3 hours if you're not doing any side quests. Now, one of the hugest selling points about this standalone is the fact that this is considered the best DLC in Borderlands. In general, it's highly likable. Tiny Tina is a really likable character, and there's a lot of quirkiness and stuff that you'd probably like if this is your first entry into the series. One of the cooler things that they added to this is that there's actually some side quests that are normally not in Tiny Tina's DLC for Borderlands 2, like the Bane. They added some base game side quests to the game. They added the Bane and Mixed Shooty, but besides that, I personally haven't found anything else. When this was released, there was advertised as new heads, which I'll show on the screen here, a rainbow chest, and more. And now the and more is a little bit up in the air and kind of doesn't specify what and more is, but the and more aspect, I personally don't see a lot. There's some new loot types like a kite shield. I haven't got the kite shield, but there's a kite shield that basically acts like a thorn shield. So when you get meleeed, it knocks the enemy back and deals some damage. More than likely, this is a testing grounds for some Wonderlands gimmicks that we'll probably see when it's released. So that's very exciting to see, kind of an insight on what they're creating, if that's the case. One of the key aspects of this DLC is the use of spells. Now, there's actually 3 different spells. As far as I'm aware, there's Fireball, Magic Missile, and Lightning Bolt. And they pretty much act like spells that you would see in Wonderlands in the future, but they're basically grenade slots that do magic light stuff. Your character will do some voice lines when you throw them out, which is very nice. Magic Missile is a very nice homing grenade. Fireball in general is just a big explosion. And then finally, Lightning Bolt is a grenade that travels really, really fast and deals some pretty good damage. It's pretty nice to play with these grenades because they're generally pretty powerful, but they have more common drops in this standalone than the DLC in Borderlands 2. So you'll be able to see more spells than normal, and there's legendary variants as well that deal more damage and additional effects that I actually don't have on this character. One of the other additions for the and more from the trailer is actually going to be this Lootapult. Now, this Lootapult is in the Dwarven Mines. Basically, it costs 10 iridium, and then when you throw it, it's going to give you some loot over here. I've only gotten purple and lower, so I'm not sure if there is a way to get a legendary from it. I'm sure there's a chance, but I've only used it a couple of times. I'm actually using one of my other accounts here to showcase this Lootapult because I have used it on my other account that I didn't use for streaming. That's one of the cooler additions that were added. It gives you something to spend your iridium because you're not going to really use iridium for anything else besides the dice chest and stuff, but it is fun to just see what you get. Also, you could also spend your iridium on Butt Stallion when you save her at the end, but I wouldn't say it's anything really to write home about. One thing that I gotta say to be a little bit cautious about, there's been reviews that state that the optimization is a bit iffy, and I personally have experienced that. In the stream that I had last night, I did have some audio glitches where my audio just completely cut out until I save quitted the game and re-entered, which is so bizarre. It would cut out, go for a little bit, and then re-enter. I didn't unplug or replug my headset to make sure that it was plugged in because I was noticing that I couldn't hear the game anymore. And if you guys want to see that stream from last night, click on the top right. I did upload a VOD onto the channel if you guys want to see the entirety of the DLC for the main story. And even right here, when I'm looting the ammo, I'm not getting any sound effects or even the cash, which is honestly a bit bizarre. So there seems to be some audio glitches, at least that I've seen. There might be some other optimization glitches I haven't personally experienced, but those are the ones I've experienced so far. Like right there, I didn't have any sound for the money that went into my character. I've never experienced that in Borderlands 2 personally, so, you know, a bit weird that this one is having that problem. One of the other things is that certain enemies have a different loot pool, so the Skeleton King can drop the Norse Fleet and other stuff like that, but generally a new loot pool is, you know, fun and all, but I personally don't see it being the selling point. I'm personally getting the DLC. I don't know, maybe that Norse Fleet fact for you makes you want to get the DLC, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I'll put my opinions, of course, near the end of the video so I can give you an unbiased opinion on whether or not you should buy this DLC or standalone game. There are some other stuff that's been added to the Fire Rock Refuge over here. One of the key things that's advertised in the trailer is the Rainbow Chest, which you get a free key of for your character as soon as you start the game. I'm going to open it here. I haven't used it on this account, but pretty much what you get is going to be 4 purples or lower. I personally haven't found any guns or pieces of loot that were legendary with this, and I've opened it a couple of times. But it is nice to have that little bit of an upgraded golden chest situation if you like that. One of the other things that you will notice drop of regular enemies and bosses is the dropping of Seraph Crystals. Now, a good example on this is that this character is only level 3, and I've already gotten 4 Seraph Crystals, which means that you can try out the Seraph rarity weapons sooner than you could in Borderlands 2. So if you're interested in that, that is actually a pretty cool addition to the game and allows you to have something to farm for endgame, and these pieces of loot will be at your level every single time you buy them. So that does give you something to do once you hit endgame, because endgame is level 35 at True Vault Hunter mode. Once you get to level 28, EXP is very scarce. It's kind of hard to get to, so level 35 is pretty hard to get to, but if you're determined enough, you could get it. So far, I believe that's everything that's been discovered by the community that's new. Of course, this has only been released for about a day, so it might be a little bit too judgmental to 100% judge it before it's even stood on its feet. But with everything said, I want to really determine whether or not I personally think that this would be worth it. So the normal mode and True Vault Hunter mode that I played in this DLC, I personally am going to say I wouldn't say it's actually worth it in my personal opinion. Now, the biggest reason why I feel that way is that you can actually go on to the PS Store, Xbox Store, even just online and buy the Handsome Collection for $10, which is the equivalent of this standalone game if you bought it for $10. Of course, for me, I bought it for free. If you have those $10 laying around, I would highly recommend getting the Handsome Collection. Let me just Google search it real quick just to prove to you that it is $10. So I'm just going to Google search it right here. First things first is go to shopping. We got $10 on the PlayStation Store, $12 at GameStop. If you really, really want, you could buy it on GTA. I personally do recommend buying on GTA because it's a bit cheaper if you want to save some money. But for PC, generally, you'll see it on Epic Game Store for $60. So if you are buying it on PC, definitely use GTA. Make sure you know the ins and outs of the website. Make sure you get a good verified seller before you buy it on GTA. If you're on PC, like right here, this has 100% positive feedback, so I probably buy it from this seller. I'm not trying to advertise G2A. And the reason why I feel so strongly about this is because the Handsome Collection comes with 2 Borderlands games. So if you want an entry into the Borderlands games, this is the deal you want to get. Just $10. You get Borderlands 2 and Borderlands pre-sequel. Arguably, Borderlands the pre-sequel is pretty controversial in the community. I personally think it's my favorite and it has the best Vault Hunters, but that's my opinion. Both are excellent games, and you get all the bonus add-on contents for both games, which is absolutely fantastic. So you do get the Tiny Tina DLC that you're playing on the standalone game in the Borderlands 2 package as well. So you could just buy this for $10 instead, get the DLC, the full Borderlands 2 game, Borderlands pre-sequel. It's just a much better deal. So if you are hesitant on buying it, my personal opinion and advice to you guys, spend the $10 on the Handsome Collection. That is way better deal. You'll be able to experience it. I don't personally think that the items that are added to the standalone game is worth warranting spending $10 over when you could buy the Handsome Collection. I'll give credit where credit is due. It obviously is to hype up Wonderlands. So Gearbox did do their job hyping up the Wonderlands, I would say, with this standalone game. And even if you don't feel that way, you gotta admit that it did stir up the pot for controversy with the community, which are gonna make people talk about Wonderlands more. No matter how you put it is positive for them, because that's more publicity, that's more exposure for them. Sometimes the best thing a developer can do is to stir the pot and get some controversy for the community, because it gets them talking and it makes the exposure a lot better. Of course, for a community basis, that is not the best option, but Borderlands is run by a very, very big corporation, so they're probably doing what's best for them. But let's stop talking about corporation stuff and finish it there. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys think that this is worth it, please comment down below. If you disagree with everything I said, or even if I missed something that was added to this, please comment it down below. You'll probably help a fellow Vault Hunter, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.